So hi, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do a weight reduction on the G305 using some 3D printed mods that are out on the internet. I'll put links in the description to where you can get these downloaded. Today I'm going to show you what the weight reduction is and how this can change your mouse with a few simple tweaks. So if you're not familiar with this channel, it's going to give you the data and statistics to get the competitive edge over your rivals. It's going to show you a lot of mods as well, so make sure you like and subscribe to get the latest content. So we have a 3D printed base. This took about 3 hours to print. We've got a 3D printed rear panel. Due to the supports, it's about 2.5 to 3 hours as well to print. I've used black PLA, and then there's a DPI and LR44 battery mod as well, which is good. These are all free, all on Thingiverse. You can see here the stock weight is 73 grams. I'm going to be using lighter fluid to take the skates off. You can reuse these stock skates. I think they're absolutely rubbish, and I put some other ones on. I've done plenty of videos on my channel for aftermarket skates, but I would certainly look to replace these anyway. And if you do want to use these, there's a video on how to take skates off the safest way, or a few options for you if you haven't got lighter fluid or you don't want to use it as well. So you've got to strip down the G305. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before. I've done many videos with the G305. It's one of the most modded mice. We're not going to change the switches. We're going to leave them stock to the Omron 10 million. They've now got Kale side switches. You can see the stock base is 19 grams and the 3D printed is 14 grams. The rear panel is 8 grams and the 3D printed is 4 grams. So quite a bit of saving on the 3D printed parts. There's a little bit more flex in the 3D printed parts. They're not as solid as the stock Logitech, which are built like a tank. So if you do apply a lot of pressure on the sides, you could potentially cause it to flex. The rear panel is certainly difficult to get on the back and it's a little bit tricky to position. You can crack it during this process. You can also see the stock AA battery compartment is 5 grams and the LR44 is 3 grams. Again, a good weight reduction on that. You are going to need to use these LR44 batteries available on all the shops. I'll put some links in the description for that. They are cheap and they do last the battery a couple of weeks. They're easily swappable as well. You can just pull them in and out and change them over. So once you've broken your mouse down, you now put the PCB back into this new 3D printed base. You might need to file the left side button openings down a little bit. They can get a little bit trappy in there and stick, especially if you've got a few little overhangs on your 3D printer, or if you're using a 3D printing service. I've got one on birdybob.com. I'll put a link in the description as well. They can require a little bit of modification when you get them. This is what it looks like inside the base once it's done. I quite like the holes on this one. The holes on the side don't bother me. There is an option not to have holes and just have a hex print base. I personally prefer the holes, that gets the maximum weight out of it. Or if you're a bit more adventurous, and I've done before, you can cut the stock base. Now inside the LR44 DPI mod, there's little holes. I have to drill these because some of them don't print out perfectly for me. But you have to then thread through the positive and the negative. Now you could use some other wires here in a JS2 connector. I've used the ones that come with the G305, but if you don't want to destroy that, you can use some yourself. If you just want to make your own cable, it should be fairly simple. A little hand drill here that helps me drill through the 3D print to make sure the channel's right for the holes. You might need to do this as well yourself because it's quite a narrow opening. I expect there's probably a bit of filament in there that you're going to need to take out. So just keep working out those holes, the drill in there, and then you'll be able to eventually thread through the stripped positive and negative wires. And then you can trap that behind the LR44. I don't solder the battery. I just use the opening here to trap it. If it's a little bit loose, you could use some tin foil as well to do that. I also use a bit of tape just to secure it. For me, you don't necessarily need that. I've just done it, my own personal preference. So I've just coiled up the wires. I'm using a bit of M3 insulation tape just to seal off the battery here, just to keep it in place. To be honest, you probably don't need it. I'm just being a bit of extra security. And then you screw it in. There's 2 screws back where the DPI button is. And then the rear one, I don't screw, I just use it as a clip. You don't put any pressure on it, so there's not necessarily a requirement for a screw. If you want one of these made, I can make you one. check it out on my Beardy Bob shop. I can do some other mice mods as well. If you've got any other mice that you want modding, there's quite a lot on there. Worth checking out. If there's anything that you want particularly done that isn't on there, let me know and I can do that for you, I'm sure. So then use the stock base screws to screw it all back together. Don't over tighten them, you can strip them. So just be very cautious, just to tighten it to hand tight very gently. I've done another weight reduction on the internal skeleton. I'll do another printed one as well for that. If you want to see that, let me know. The 3D printed front buttons I found to be heavier, so I haven't printed those. That's why I haven't done it for this. There is an option on Thingiverse to do that, but for me they are heavier, so I don't see the point. Also, I think they are better being stock because they're much nicer feel. Overall, a nice little mouse mod. Drops it down to a nice 63 grams, and then without the shell on the back, it's 59 grams. This is a light mouse given the stock weight is 97 grams. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other modding videos, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.